Hello friends and welcome to Unacademy UPSC Current Affairs. I am Joicy Joy and today we will be discussing about the DNA Bill of 2020 in the session Current Polity of the Day. So let's get started. DNA Bill of 2020. Before that, this is about the new batches which will commence from the 1st of January. So we'll be providing you 1 year and 2 year courses for 2022 and 2023 examination. So these are the details of the courses. And this is the expert batches for UPSC CSE 2021. Now this is regarding the NCERT batches for UPSC CSE prelims. And these are the weekend batches, the details of the weekend batches. And this is regarding the iconic price hike, and these are the features of the iconic subscription. You will be getting your personal mentor. Also, you will be getting access to mains test series along with the evaluation, a customized study planner, study booster sessions, high intensity workshops, practice of daily answer writing, daily content preparation. And these are the subscription fee details of the courses, of the combo courses. So the combo courses, you have two options. One is either you can go for an iconic subscription for your GS and the optionals, or you can go for the plus subscription and the optional. So these are the subscription fee details, and you can use my referral code. This is my referral code Joicy10, JOICY10. You will be getting an extra 10% discount if you use my referral code. So this is a current affair relating to DNA bill, DNA regulation bill or DNA bill. The AIMIM, that is the All India Majlis-e-Ittihad-ul-Muslimin President Azauddin Owaisi and CPI leader Binoy Vishwam have filed a dissent notes to the Parliamentary Standing Committee's report on the DNA Technology Use and Application Regulation Bill of 2019. So they claim that it does not take into account their concerns over privacy violations and targets Dalit, Muslims and Adivasis by way of DNA sample collection and indefinite storage as per the new legislation. So they claim that it is a violation of the right to privacy. Right to privacy is a fundamental right. Violation of right to privacy, which is a fundamental right. So right to privacy is a fundamental right, and they claim that the DNA bill is a violation of right to privacy. Why? Because the bill allows for DNA sample collection and indefinite storage of the DNA sample collection. So the bill ran afoul with the standards that were set in Puttaswamy and Subramanian Swamy judgments of the Supreme Court. So Puttaswamy judgment, it's a very important judgment in which the Supreme Court declared that right to privacy is a fundamental right. So in this judgment, the Supreme Court said that right to privacy, it's a fundamental right. And they flagged the example of the United Kingdom, where the number of crimes solved by the DNA evidence had been reducing even though the number of profiles in the system was going up. So those who have filed this dissent notes to the Parliamentary Standing Committee, they have put up the evidence from the UK, United Kingdom, where there is already a DNA Act or a DNA law existing. So in the case of UK, in this UK example, United Kingdom example, the number of crimes solved by the DNA evidence is reducing. That is, even though there is a law existing in the country, the number of crimes which are solved by DNA evidence is reducing, even though the number of profiles in the system, the DNA profiles in the system is going up. So here in case of UK, what is happening? So the DNA samples are on rise, whereas the crimes that have been solved by using the DNA evidence is less. So this shows that there is no relationship or correlation between increasing the DNA samples and solving the crimes. So DNA samples may not always help in solving the crimes. This is what is evident from the example of UK. Okay. So this has been quoted by them. Now, let's see what is this bill all about. So, DNA Technology Use and Application and Regulation Bill of 2019. So, this bill, it's also known as DNA Profiling Bill. It tries to check the use of DNA technology to establish the identity of a person. So, it's trying to check the use of DNA technology to establish the identity of a person. The aim is to establish the identity of missing persons, victims, offenders, under trials and unknown deceased persons. The aim is to identify the missing persons, the victims of several crimes and offenders, under trials and also deceased person, unknown deceased person. Suppose a person is found deceased, dead and the identity is not revealed, then what can be done? DNA profiling can be used. So the purpose of this bill is to use the DNA technology in order to establish the identity of a particular person. The Lok Sabha passed a similar bill in Jan 2019, but it lapsed when the Rajya Sabha could not clear it due to lack of support from the opposition. So, a similar bill was passed in 2019 in the Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha is a lower house. But this bill got lapsed because Rajya Sabha did not clear it, because there was opposition from the opposition party or lack of support from the opposition party, and therefore the bill was not cleared. It tries to expand the application of DNA based forensic technologies to support and strengthen the justice delivery system. So this bill tries to expand the application, that is the practical application of DNA based forensic technologies. It tries to expand the application of DNA based forensic technologies in order to support and strengthen the justice delivery system. So the bill is actually trying to improve the use of DNA applications on forensic technologies to support and strengthen the justice delivery system, that is law and order maintenance and justice delivery system. Now coming to the major provisions of the bill. So what are the major provisions that the bill is offering? It seeks to establish a national data bank. So national data bank means a national data center where the DNA samples will be collected and stored. So it tries to establish a national data bank and a regional data bank. So a national data bank and regional DNA data bank. National data bank and regional DNA data bank. It seeks to establish a DNA regulatory board. So second provision is DNA regulatory board. Apart from data bank, a regulatory board. Every data bank will maintain indices like the crime scene index, suspects or under trials index, offenders index, missing persons index, unknown deceased persons index, etc. So there will be separate indices. So every data bank will be maintaining indices like the crime scene index, suspects or the under trials index, offenders index, missing persons index, unknown deceased persons index, etc. Every laboratory that analyzes the DNA samples to establish the identity of an individual has to be accredited by the board. So every laboratory which will analyze the DNA sample has to establish the identity of a person and it has to be accredited by the board. It proposes a written consent by individuals be obtained before collection of the DNA sample. So it also proposes a written consent by the individuals before collecting their DNA samples, which means that the people have to give their written consent before they are giving their samples. Okay. So every laboratory that will analyze the sample will have to be accredited by the board, regulatory board. These are major provisions. Now, consent is not required for offences with punishment of more than 7 years in jail or death. So those people who are punished for more than 7 years in jail or death penalty is given, in that case consent is not required. Their DNA can be collected. So their DNA can be collected without the consent. Consent is not required for offences with punishment of more than 7 years in jail or death. It provides for removal of DNA profiles of suspects on the filing of a police report or court order and of under trials on the basis of court order. So it provides for a removal of DNA profiles of suspects on the filing of a police report or a court order and of under trials on the basis of a court order. The profiles in the crime scene and missing persons index will be removed on written request. So this will be removed on written request. It enables the cross matching between persons who have been reported missing on the one hand and unidentified dead bodies. So it enables the cross matching between the persons who have been reported missing on one hand and unidentified dead bodies. Leaking the DNA profile information to people or entities who are not entitled to have it will be punished with a jail term of up to 3 years and a fine of up to 1 lakh. So leaking of DNA profile. So if the DNA profile is leaked, the information from the DNA profile is leaked to people or entities who are not entitled to have it. So there are certain entities or people who will be having the right, or those who will be having the authority to have the information, like for example police officers as a part of the investigation. So those people or entities who are not having the right to get the profile information, if the information is leaked to those persons, then it will attract a punishment of jail term up to 3 years or plus a fine of up to 1 lakh rupees. 3 years jail term plus 1 lakh rupees fine. Now, what are the benefits of this bill? If this bill is made into a law, what are the benefits? The DNA profiling technique help to solve heinous crimes. It will help in law and order maintenance. It help to nab the criminals. DNA profiles taken from the place of crime can be matched with the samples of the criminals arrested even after several years. So this will help the law and order maintaining authorities to check or to cross check or match the samples of the criminals arrested even after many years. And identification of parents is also possible with the use of DNA profiling. DNA test results are highly reliable. It's a very reliable source because DNA test results, they are very much accurate. So for that reason, it's very much reliable, and it's also effective in identifying accident victims, missing people, or identifying disaster victims. So accident victims or missing people, disaster victims, etc. can be easily identified, effectively identified using the DNA profiling. Now, what are the concerns behind this? Now, what are the issues raised or concerns? One is the misuse of sensitive information. DNA information is definitely very, very sensitive information. It's a privacy of an individual. So, it's a very sensitive information, and there are doubts regarding the misuse of this sensitive information. It reveals extremely sensitive information of an individual like the family ancestry, skin color, behavior, illness, health status, and susceptibility to diseases. So these are all the privacy of an individual. It's the private matter of an individual, and if it is misused, then this will be definitely a breach of, or it's a breach of privacy. Breach of fundamental right under Article 21. Right to privacy is a fundamental right guaranteed under Article 21 under right to life and personal liberty. So breach of privacy will amount to breach of a fundamental right of the individual. So misuse of sensitive information can lead to breach of right to privacy and right to liberty and life. Then storage of DNA profiles of unconvicted persons. It violates the fundamental right to privacy and does not serve any public purpose. So unconvicted persons, those who are not convicted by the court of law for any offences, if the DNA profiles are stored, it violates the fundamental right to privacy, and it does not serve any larger public interest. Next is perfunctory consent. No guidance in the bill on the grounds and reasons of when the magistrate can override the consent. There is also an absence of robust data protections. It questions the security of a huge number of DNA profiles that will be placed with the National DNA Data Bank and its regional centers. So, regarding the protection of data, the DNA data which are kept in the National DNA Data Bank, that is also a question that needs to be addressed, which is not addressed in the bill properly. So, these are the concerns with regard to the bill. So, that's it. Ankit, hi. Samin Rathod, hi Samin. So this is about the DNA bill in brief. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you at 9:45. I'll be having the special classes on the Plus platform at 9:45. I hope to see you there. Thank you so much and stay blessed. Wish you all the very best. Bye-bye. Take care.